Welcome to our second session of the End Time Study, or ETS 2. And today we'll continue our past lesson. But before we do that, let's have some background or review. According to Wayne House and Randall Price charts of the Bible prophecies, there are 31,124 verses in scriptures or the Bible, and about 8,352 verses of that contain prophecy. These are related to predictive kind of prophecy, and that makes it about 1/3 of the entire Bible is prophetic or predictive, about 20%, 27% to be exact. And also last time we talked about finding the balance between talking too much about the end times and not talking about the end times, or scatophobia versus eschatomania. We have to find the balance or avoid these two extremes. And we also learned about some criteria given by Norm Geisler, how to study the end times. We must answer these three questions. Is it Bible-based? Does it correspond to facts? Does it all fill the data consistently? And we also learn from Robert Utley and Kenneth Samples some guidelines in studying the end times. Is that first we must, in order to affirm and defend a particular view, we must also consider all the other major views, and that's what we did. We went through the different views of the end times, the different end time models. And ganun din sabi ni Utley, affirm what is clear and what is central, and do not form camps. And we know that although the models of eschatology differs, as far as the order is concerned, the sequence of events are concerned, and how they interpret it, they interpret the prophecies of Scripture. Some interpret most of the predictive prophecies literal. Others interpret most of the predictive prophecies as spiritual. So we must find the center. Alin yung clear, ano yung central, and we must affirm those. Like all camps believe that Jesus Christ is coming, and there will be the final judgment, and everyone will be resurrected, and there will be the new heaven and the new earth. So these are central and clear teachings in the Bible that we must all affirm. And although there are differences in how they are put together, which is subject to debate, the thing is, as Christians, we still are brothers in the Lord, and we avoid forming camps or demonizing other camps as well. And also another guideline is, according to Gordon Fee and Douglas Stewart, is we, like the early believers, the early disciples, we also must find ourselves, although conditioned by the future, we are looking forward to the end. Our present life must be conditioned by that, and live the benefits of the future even today. So there is a tension about the already and the not yet. The not yet is the second coming or the last day, but what is already here is the end times. We're already living the last days, plural, although we're still looking for the last day, that singular day that Christ will come and take us with Him. At ito nga yung iba't ibang models, the three models that we discussed. Yung una, yung amillennialism. It's a belief that we are now living the millennial kingdom spiritually, The kingdom is reigning in our hearts, and that's one view of amillennialism. The other view is that the kingdom, Christ is reigning in heaven, and those who have died in Him are reigning with Christ in heaven, not on the earth. So those are two versions of amillennialism, and they interpret Revelation 20 uh, as if it's already happening now, and Satan is now bound. They interpret the binding of Satan as if to say na it means the gospel is unhindered. It's more related to the irresistible grace. Ito yung kanilang interpretation dun sa Revelation 20. And what is future to them is not the kingdom, but the second coming and the final resurrection. Second coming, final judgment, resurrection, and the eternity, which is the new heaven and the new earth. That's amillennialism. Although some amillennialists, they don't want to be called amillennialists because they are also similar to post-millennialism in the sense that we are living in the millennial kingdom now. The difference with post-millennialism is that this view believes that the gospel influence will grow increasingly and tremendously, and it will change the hearts and minds of the world, and we will like live in a utopic kingdom, if you will, or a golden age where there is peace, prosperity before the second coming. Kaya post-millennialism. And the other view is premillennialism, and we learned that premillennialism is the belief of the early church, and then their influence is Revelation, the linear interpretation of Revelation, yung pagkakasunod-sunod sa Revelation 20. Jesus comes, chapter 19, and Satan is bound into the bottomless pit, and he's locked there and will be released after 1,000 years. And those who were beheaded or those who were martyred came back to life, and they reign with Christ for 1,000 years on earth until Satan is once again released after 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead were resurrected. That's premillennialism.